All right, good morning. Welcome to our channel. My name is Vahid Chitsas, part of the Elite Mastermind Group. This morning, I got the privilege of sitting down with Miss Anne Marie. I know you and I have been talking and going back and forth via Instagram. That was our first contact. You're a coach, you're a mentor, you're an influencer. So I'm glad to have you on our show this morning. I'm very excited for our conversation because I know a lot of audience, a lot of them are going to benefit from this, especially based on your vast, diverse, all over the world experience that you bring in. So let's dive into it. I know the main topic that you and I definitely have a common ground is Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. But before we get into that favorite topic of mine, I'd like to know a little bit more about your background. What have you done? How do you coach individuals and how do you influence people?
Okay. Well, I started my career at the early age of 18. I'm born and raised in New York, in Queens, and at a very young age, I started working in nightlife, and nightlife gave me the opportunity to really learn the grit of business, the moving and the shaking, working with high net worth, celebrity, high profile individuals. And with that, I was able to learn all the ins and outs of the business, from opening and operating a nightclub to doing PR, marketing, branding, and VIP hosting.
Oh,
And all of that together allowed me to diversify my skill set and learn all these things that I did not go to school for.
I don't even think they teach it in school.
Yeah, they do. There's some courses out there and some degrees that you can get in PR and marketing, but I didn't go that route. I was always more of an individual who liked to learn and be hands-on. I
Hands on.
wasn't much of a school person, and looking at the way things are today, I'm glad that I followed my heart and that I
Right.
really had a vision and followed that vision. So, in doing all those different things, I decided to start my own business in 2009,
Nice.
and I started a business called Anne Marie Inc. That business was all about being your all access key: where to go, what to do, with who and how. And I created this persona for myself internationally where people could come to me to get into the hottest parties, restaurants, hotels, and clubs. And I started to work on the corporate side, developing these concepts, working on developing these nightclub brands and restaurants and the experience and programming, which then turned into working on the licensing and franchising, how to take these concepts and sell them worldwide. And with that and having that platform, what do you get? You get all those individuals that have to eat, that want to party, and need a place to sleep, and they're traveling.
Right.
So that allowed me to build a bigger book of business, and it exposed me to high net worth, high profile, celebrity. And then working between those worlds, I got to really build strong relationships and a book of business that I've been able to take between Dubai, London, Ibiza, Turks and Caicos, New York, Los Angeles. And that's how I built my business.
And
And I
now
was
we're
able
in
to
Woodland
travel.
Hills.
And now we're in Woodland Hills. Yeah.
No, from
Hmm.
Dubai to Woodland Hills.
That's right.
Who are the individuals that you serve the most? Who can you help to take their business to the next level? What is your ideal client that you could really excel them in their business?
I think for me, the ideal client is someone who is really open, someone who sees the value and understands how important it is to set a certain precedence for yourself, knowing that you building a brand, whether that be a personal, an individual, or a product or a place, that there needs to be a message, there needs to be some value. What are you offering people? What are you giving people? Once we have the platform in order to promote something, we have a responsibility. And that responsibility means that we are to share what we know. We are to give back or give information that's going to help other people in return. So when you talk about my ideal client from a coaching perspective, the individual is someone who wants to learn and someone who's open-minded.
Being
So
coachable.
someone who's coachable, someone who also is hungry, someone who has motivation, who's inspired, because they're not going to get to me if they're not inspired, right? I'm not going to talk to someone just because they're hanging out there like, I think I want to do this. It's not usually that person.
Right.
It's someone who has been vocal. It's someone who's been authentic. It's someone who's been transparent, and they've presented themselves, and the divine timing has brought us together where that conversation takes place. So when we talk about coaching, as much as I'd like to say I am a coach, I don't believe I'm a coach, but I believe I have coached some people. I take a very holistic approach to my business when I'm branding someone or something, and that's what am I doing from my own value system, my belief system, and what am I translating into that person? What am I teaching them? And what am I teaching them that I feel that they're going to be able to digest and then create something for themselves that's very unique to them. I think a lot of times people think that they have to be someone or be like something, but that in fact is not the case, is it? We are unique in our own. What are we creating based on our own desires and our dreams and aspirations that we can bring out into the world? And how can we also make money doing that?
Right.
So the individuals is somebody open, someone authentic. The brands, if I'm working with a brand, I have to really believe in it. And when I say believe in it, I have to ask myself these questions. Are we in alignment? Do I believe in what I'm selling? Do they want to create something that's going to give back at some capacity? And you can do that in any industry,
Right.
but there has to be a culture, an ethos, something in the infrastructure and the language. So if I don't see that, I either introduce it, and if they're not about it, then I know that that's not the client for me.
Right. Which I have seen a lot of companies that is not their mission, that is not their motto, that they're not looking at. They're just looking for the bottom line. What can we sell right now? How can we make money?
Sure.
And obviously, you're definitely not going to take them on as client. And those brands, generally speaking, don't last as much as the other ones that are in tune and in line with that. So let me ask you a question. At age 18, you start a career, entrepreneurship, and you're out there. At what age did you get? I mean, you look like 21, 22, so that was like a couple
I
of
do?
years ago.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
no problem. So at what age did you, or how many years ago did you get introduced to Napoleon Hill, Dr. Hill's work?
Well, I'll tell you, prior to Napoleon Hill, I was introduced to The Secret.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I was working for JetBlue Airways as a flight attendant. I was 26 years old, and my mom said I needed to get my life together, that flying around the world to promote parties was not a job. So I got a job with JetBlue, and I did that for 18 months. And I remember sitting on the plane and thinking, there's no way I'm going to read these tabloid magazines. Number one, my brain's going to turn into oatmeal. I don't feel stimulated,
Right.
and I feel like I should be doing something like what I see, and I want to be on a red carpet. So I read that book, and it changed my whole perspective on what was a possibility for me. And I probably was doing that in my earlier years, getting out of my own way and having a vision and following it, but not knowing what I was doing. At 26, I became more conscious of that. And as I got a little older, I started looking more into self-development and transformation. And when I did that, I really opened myself up to a whole new world.
Oh.
And following The Secret, I ended up doing more healing work, which allowed me to work with Reiki masters and brought me and introduced me into a whole new world of healing and spirituality, which then got me to the Landmark Education Transformational Forum.
I love that.
Yeah.
I did it twice.
I was about to go back now to take that advanced self-realization course.
I even paid for the advance, but I never went back because Landmark Forum just profoundly changed my.
Yeah.
It did like a 180 degree on me. So we're definitely going to be touching up on that. I think Landmark Forum helped me be able to be open up in a group setting where I wasn't just protecting myself of my flaws.
Yeah. It actually makes you see your flaws, right?
And I saw it and I was like, okay, this is who I am. Need to face it, and I'm okay if people are going to judge me for it. But they never got to the judging because I came from a very good place where I was just sharing what has happened in my life and everything else. Yeah. So I recommend Landmark for sure. So now we have two common denominators: Think and Grow Rich and Landmark.
So Think and Grow Rich came into my life when I was living in Dubai. I was in Dubai in 2013, and I had just taken the Landmark course a year and a half prior to that. And when I got to Dubai, I did not want to lose that momentum. I didn't want to lose what I had learned. I thought, how am I going to keep that alive? And I feel a little bit technically handicapped when it comes to using certain apps and the computer, and I'm always going on YouTube to type stuff in.
So I do the same thing. You shouldn't feel bad. I do that all the time.
Yeah, and
these younger kids, they got all the stuff down. Us older people, if you don't have it down, I gotta figure things out, and it usually takes me a little bit longer than the other one.
So I went on YouTube, and that's how I got introduced to Napoleon Hill, and with that, it opened up my mind to different conversations, and then obviously the right people started presenting themselves, and then I was able to just really see that I had already been living certain parts of my life based on the principles of Napoleon Hill.
Right, I agree with that 100%. Let's dive into a little bit more in depth of Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. I know I've been studying it and reading it for the past 12 years. I probably will know about, if you test me, I probably know about 5% of how to utilize that, and I'm improving on it every single year. I don't claim that I know all the principles or I'm using all the principles. I strive to do that. But just for our audience to know, you come from a very diverse background. How are you using the Napoleon Hill's philosophies and principles in your day-to-day, life, and how do you relate that to business?
Okay. Well, I think it's really important to have a presence. You have to understand every day where you currently are in your life as far as self-awareness. Where am I today? How am I feeling? How is the way I'm feeling going to affect me, and how will it affect others? So I have to check myself on a daily basis. So when I get up in the morning, I'm not just running out irresponsibly to put my energy out into the world. I check myself. And I make sure that I get aligned and that I have a connection with my almighty creator, so that before I leave the house, I know what I'm bringing out there, and I've also protected my aura.
So you have a
Very
routine.
intentional. I do have a routine, yes.
So tell us about that routine.
So every day when I wake up, I make sure the first thing that I do is say thank you. I say thank you for the fact that I've even opened my eyes, because there are a lot of people that don't get that opportunity. So that's one. I've opened my eyes. I get to live another day. The second thing I like to do is I like to sit down with a book and work on anything having to do with gratitude or affirmations. So I'm going to sit there and I'm going to write on that book, I am grateful for, and I will name all the things I currently have and all of the things that I know that I still do not have yet, but I act as if I do. Because acting as if I do allows me to open up that space and create more of that energy so that it comes into my life. So I do that every day.
How much time do you usually spend on that?
I need about an hour every morning to do all my stuff, because I have to meditate as well.
Okay, so tell us about that.
So I get up, I say thank you. After I've said thank you, I either go in and I meditate first, or I do my journal. When I do the meditation, I try to check on how I feel, because we wake up differently every day, right? I'm not always waking up very chipper and confident and happy. Sometimes I have my own challenges and struggles. So I will ask within, what is it that I'm feeling? Where is that feeling coming from? Sometimes it could be anxiety. Sometimes I can wake up cranky. Why have I woken up that way? And I know that I don't want to continue the rest of my day that way. So I check myself. I use an app called Insight Timer, and I will type into that app a type of meditation to help me shift where I'd like to be. So maybe it's on attracting good energy, resisting fear, attracting love, whatever that may be that I'm feeling that morning. I will do that for about 15-20 minutes, and then I'll throw on a Jerry and Esther Hicks Teachings of Abraham, because I believe so much in the fact that we have this vortex, and that anything that we are seeing at any time is right on time and there because we are actually supposed to be looking at it, reading it, listening to it. So I will do that in order to get whatever message I'm supposed to get that day from that teaching. Plus, I'm also subscribed on YouTube, so I get the daily videos in as well. And my newest thing that I've added into the 1 hour is a daily morning reminder or pep talk from an app called Pep Talk. So it wakes you up with "You the bomb." So you wake up and you see this thing, you're like, all right.
Yes.
And then
it's like if the app says it must be true, huh?
Yeah, and then it'll give you a quote by Napoleon Hill, or by a thought leader, or a spiritual leader, whatever that may be that they've got in the mix. And then it brings you to a bunch of different 2-minute motivational, inspirational talks, and you can choose who you want that to come from. But usually it wakes you up with that specific person, and then you listen to something for 2 minutes. So that's usually my ritual. I'm living by the beach. I go out, I take a quick walk at the beach. I do my respect to the sun, and then I get my day going.
So this is 1 hour. So you're
1
really
hour.
responsive. You're like really putting time, energy, effort into doing stuff.
Yeah.
So things don't happen just by accident. You're like really intentionally, you're aware of what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. How long you been doing this for? This routine that you just said. I know you add things and might subtract, but how long you been on this path?
Yeah, so I've been on this self-development spiritual path for about 8-9 years. This daily routine that I'm telling you about, with the mix of all the things I like to do, I've been doing for about 2 years.
So your day starts at what time?
6:30, 7 o'clock.
Cool. So
Yeah.
you started early. I mean, because you.
I start early because I also understand how my body works too. I know that I can't jump up and rush out of bed. Some people have their own techniques with the cold shower and all that stuff. That's not me. I need to first be there like I woke up. Thank you. I
Right.
need to do that in the morning first. So I need my time. I need my time. And I'm not
For
a
me, it's
morning
a
person
shower.
like that.
My day does not start unless my shower is done. I need to go in there. It needs to be showered. I wake up as I'm taking my shower, and it's like a quick shower. It's like 3 minutes to 5 minutes. But some people say cold water. I don't do that.
Yeah.
Mine has to be warm water.
Yeah.
It takes me time, but 3 to 5 minutes, I'm good to go. As long as I have my shower, I'm going. But I do my affirmation and all that, and the routine that I started, I think it's been about like 4 years now, is that I made a playlist on YouTube for myself. So whenever I'm down, I'm negative, something's happening, anxiety, the business is not flowing the way I thought it should, or the strategy that I put in place is not, I have a playlist that could get me into the optimal peak status very fast. Within 10-15 minutes, I could feel like that and put everything aside.
And
so
shift.
I said, and shift,
Yeah.
very, and I know exactly which videos at what minute are part of that video that has
Very
that. So
good.
if I go for specific individuals that I have, I know like at 13 minutes and 13 seconds, like this guy starts talking, and I know this 2 minutes is gonna give me that energy that I need.
Yeah, my process is different because I feel like I need to be led, and there's something for me to learn. Sometimes I'll hear the same video again, but I hear something different in that video.
Right.
So I'm more about what is the message today? What do you want me to hear today? So I'm very, very alert where I'm actively listening.
Right.
And I feel like I'm always getting something new out of that. And what I also find is that when I'm very present, if I will get an innate message that will say, let's say for this week it's been letting go because everything's right here. Everything's right here. It's arrived. It's arrived. It's arrived. All of a sudden, Instagram, YouTube, email, all the messages are coming in. It's arrived. It's arrived. It's here. It's arrived. And the signs are there over and over again. So I pay attention to those things because I feel like if I get myself too used to something, I'm not shaking it up. I need to disrupt it so I can constantly be moving and evolving with my own practice.
Right. I agree. I mean, you're definitely killing it on Instagram. I see your Instagram, your story. Everybody's watching it, commenting. I mean, you're all over the place, and you're all over the world too. So I'm getting a lot of scenery that I'm not used to. I'm like, this is cool. I gotta watch what she's doing this week. So that's amazing, and you're helping a lot of individuals. Tell me 2 principles that you like the most, or you implemented the most from Dr. Hill's work.
Well, I think I mentioned before it was the desire.
Right.
You have to have the desire. I think it's really important to have a desire and then also practice being in the feeling of that desire.
Right.
I think that's very important. It's a very good exercise because if you practice the desire, the emotion of what the desire will bring you,
Right.
then you are able to create the space for that to come into your life. It's a very good way for you to say, not when I get there, I will feel. No, I don't want to get there and feel. I want to feel that now. And then feeling that now will bring that into my life.
Definitely.
I think the second principle would be about the conscious mind and just being conscious. I think that for me, what I have found is we can get so lost and distracted, but I want to understand that it's right here, right now. How can I stay present? How can I really celebrate where I am at this very moment? How do I do that? And it's about not getting distracted and really being in a space of self-awareness that allows me to be grateful for what I currently have. Therefore, not distracting me to see the things that I don't have, but yet to be in a state to experience and really be in that moment, because that's really all we have.
Definitely, I agree. Would you say that that is one of the reasons why a lot of entrepreneurs are not reaching their success level that they could? What's the common denominator that they're not being successful? Because we see a lot of entrepreneurs, they work hard, they have the burning desire, but sometimes those little, a few small elements are not there for them to be successful or reach the level that they should.
Do I feel that not being conscious is
Right.
why they're not there? There are many factors. There are many things. I think from a holistic perspective, there's always a root. There's one thing for someone, and that can be something that happened to you in your childhood or from your ancestors that keeps you from elevating to another place in your life. So it can be different for everyone, but at the root, everyone has something that they need to work on. And that's the part that we avoid, is doing the work and going within and finding out what that is and getting uncomfortable and getting all that ugly out so that we can see all the beautiful. So that's what I think keeps people.
It's not an easy process to do.
It's not easy. No, it's not easy.
It requires work.
Yeah.
It requires studying, all these different things.
Mm-hmm.
So I agree with you 100%. I share that common denominator where you said the desire. I mean, burning desire definitely for sure is one of the principles that I strive to achieve as much as I can and bring into my life and a lot of the people that I associate myself. Got another question for you. I want you to elaborate on fulfillment. What does it mean to have a purpose in life, and what could come out of it if you're not in a position to serve, or how do you clarify that you are serving when you don't feel that you are serving?
I love this topic, and thank you so much for asking that question, because I feel like a lot of times we are doing our work and we're on repeat and autopilot, and we're doing things thinking that we're happy, or we wake up one day and realize that we're not happy or we're not fulfilled, which is what happened to me. In 2015, I gave up everything that I had that I thought made me happy, and I realized that I was seeking purpose. I was unfulfilled, and I was so confused by what I was doing for work versus me being of service that I didn't want to go back to work. I thought that if I went back to work, I was going against what my calling was, my greater calling. But what was my greater calling? Why could I not be of service? Why could I not be that individual in the context that I was currently living? And I remember sitting at Marianne Williamson's lecture and sitting there saying, I want to do something on a grander level, right? And some girl got up and said, I want to do something on a grander level. And I thought, that's the question I was going to ask, right? And Marianne Williamson is very good at being direct. And she looked at the girl and said, what does that mean on a grander level? What does that mean when people say that? Is that ego? What more grand do you want to be? What is wrong with what you're doing right now that you want to be on a grander level? Because anybody can be of service. The mechanic is of service. The doctor is being of service. You, the lawyer, are being of service. You're being of service in the way that you act, the way you interact with someone else, in the work that you're currently doing. The mechanic fixes the car. He's being of service. The doctor helps someone with their health. He's being of service. And I remember listening in the back like, well, I was going to ask that question, but somebody asked before me. And I thought, have I been of service? And then I got into my head about that. So every time someone asked me something, I was like, let me be of service. Let me help you. Always trying to figure out how to be what I was already naturally doing.
Right.
And today, I watch myself whenever anything is presented to me, and it's by the way I behave. It's what comes out of my mouth. It's how I am able to listen and see how I can help the other person. That is being of service. And we can do that in our everyday lives, no matter what it is that we're doing that we think is not of service.
Right.
So it can get very confusing. They always talk about, the awakenings and that aha moment, and how they say that path can be very scary for some. You ever see that meme with the roller coaster where people are like, right? The roller coaster is about to go down. With spirituality, right? What awakening is versus what it really is. They're like, oh, awakening is like, And the other ones of the roller coaster, it is that. Because you get so turned upside down, you make such radical changes because now you're awakened and now you realize there's more to life. And now you want to figure out what that is. So I think it's really important that we be kind to ourselves and that we try to be the best possible human beings that we can be, and know that every day we're learning and that we need tools and resources and the right people around us in order to continue learning and continue to evolve so that we can be that person and give back.
I agree with you 100%. It's so funny that you mentioned that, and I even asked that question, is that I got this DM message on our Instagram account that, some business owner was asking us what is our purpose and how we're going to monetize our channel and how we're making money. What is in it for us? And my response to that was, we're just bringing awareness to self-development. I don't know how we're going to get compensated for it, but I know if I serve a lot of people and we bring this awareness, I'm pretty sure somebody's going to sponsor us. I'm pretty sure someone's going to throw us money. Someone is going to somehow, some way compensate us, either monetary or other way. But by us doing that, we're getting the fulfillment that we're giving back to the community. And it's a community that's global. I mean, on our channel, I said 25% of the people don't even understand the interviews that we're doing. But just the energy and the vibe that we're putting, and there's like 3 of us.
But you're passionate, right?
Yeah.
You guys are passionate about what you're doing.
You got to be, or else you wouldn't be doing it for free.
So passion comes first, right? If you're passionate about something, the money will come.
Right.
Okay, so then the money comes. You're passionate about something, the money comes. Now you've got the money. So then what?
Do more of the passion at a higher level.
You do more of the passion. You figure out that why. What is your purpose? Why are you doing that? You're doing this because you want to help people. The money's going to come. Now the money's come. What do you do with that money? You know, this is when all of that community work starts coming out. What are we going to do to give back? Now you've cultivated a community. You've got 180,000 people following you on this Instagram. So what are we going to do with those 180,000 people?
We're going to change so many lives.
We're going to develop. We're going to create foundations and fundraising. We're going to go out there and give back, and we're going to teach. And that's how it works, isn't it?
It's a cycle.
Right? It's a cycle.
It's going to go back and forth. And I already think we are changing people's lives, because I would say about 25% of the audience have not even read the book. Like, they haven't gone through the whole thing. They know of Dr. Hill's work. They know about Think and Grow Rich, but the book has been sitting on their shelves of their lives for many, many months.
But do you understand what you're doing with this platform? The people's attention span today is so short. You're giving them what they need. You're giving them enough of what they need to then inspire them enough, or get them motivated enough to then go and read the book. It's very powerful.
Very powerful. I wish somebody would have done that to me a long time ago. I kind of, if Think and Grow Rich just fell into my lap, because all the people that I was associated with, they were reading it. So I was like, if I want to be part of this group, I got to buy the book and I got to be part of it. So I kind of did it because I wanted to be part of that group. I didn't know why or how it was going to change my life. I just knew that if they're this serious about studying a book, I need to be part of it. Sure. What is the book? It don't matter. I just need to be surrounding myself with these
individuals. It's all about your network, right?
Right.
Your network, who you surround yourself with. We've all heard that before, about the 5 people you spend the most time with. Those are the,
so true.
That's how you're living your life. That's what you're going to be getting. You have to think to yourself sometimes, what am I currently doing? What can I do to disrupt it? What can I try that's new? Maybe the relationships that I currently have no longer serve me. Maybe it's time to move on. Maybe I'll see them again. Everything's a season, a reason, and a lifetime, and we have to be okay with that.
Yeah, and sometimes it doesn't mean that they're bad people. It just means that they're not bringing any added value to you right now, and maybe their energy level is not as positive or as excited for your future as it should be. So I see that in a lot of individuals, and I keep telling them on Instagram, just because someone comments something stupid that is bringing out the negative, just ignore it. Just ignore and move on. It's not what they think of you is none of your business.
Absolutely, and I agree with that. I love that. I love that statement. I've said that to a couple of friends before. You know, what they think of you is none of your business, and it's a matter of really knowing who you are, being comfortable, living a life with integrity, being ethical. And if you can look at yourself in the mirror every day and go to bed with a clear head, then you've done your job.
I agree with that. Listen, I want to thank you for being with us today. I really appreciate it. I know it's on a Sunday afternoon. You give this time to us. I know you've been traveling. I know you're planning on staying with us longer. We have so much more work to do, because I think with your background and what you've done, it's going to definitely bring in added necessary tools to our platform, which a lot of coaches and individuals are coming to get their self-development, and just maybe bring the awareness of Napoleon Hill and Think and Grow Rich a little bit more in the mainstream and make it cool.
Absolutely, because that's what it's about, guys. Like, cool, conscious is cool, giving back is cool, being in touch with something, a higher being is cool,
that's
understanding
really cool.
that you don't do it all on your own is cool, making new friends is cool, giving all of these things together. So Napoleon Hill is going to be a really amazing way for people to enhance their lives and to shift and change things and to see real results.
I appreciate you being with us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you.